So today, if you're a leader or a manager who cares about keeping your best people, we're going to talk about what do you say so that they stay. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can say that help make sure that they're going to stay. Now, nothing's 100%, right? Life changes, opportunities come up, things happen. But what I find all too often is that as leaders, we make assumptions about the people who are working with us. We think that if there are no problems, that everything must be okay. But we don't take into account the conversation that's going on inside our associates' heads, the conversation they're having with themselves every day, the conversation around what's next for me? Is this what success looks like? Is this all there is? So we want to get in front of those conversations. We want to say the right things now so that we don't have to scramble later. So here are things that you can say starting today to your best people. The first thing is to say, I'd like to schedule some time with you and sit down and take a deeper dive about how things are going here for you. The important part about that is I'd like to sit down and schedule some time. I'd like us to take time away from the time that we spend together going through your to-do list, going through the problems in our work. But you're basically saying, I care enough about you that I want us to set aside some time to talk about you. How would you feel if someone came up to you and said that? Said, you matter enough that I want to set aside some time and talk about you. And the mistake that I see even experienced leaders make is that they're so busy in the day-to-day work that they think a passing conversation during a check-in or during a meeting is sufficient. It's not. We have to create the space to be able to ask the bigger questions, to be able to have the deeper conversations, and most importantly, it's a hard one for me to learn, to shut up and listen to what our people are really saying. You can't do that in the mode of the day-to-day work. You can't do that when you're walking back from the meeting back to your offices. You can't say, so how's things going anyway? Oh, good, you, good, yeah, great, we're good. It doesn't work like that. So, making sure that you say, I'd like to set aside some time, and then follow up on it. Don't assume that that person believes you the first time, especially if you have not done this as a regular basis. And then when you've got that time on your calendar, if this person is important to you, please treat that calendar spot like gold, like it's an appointment that you would not break. Because what I see happen so often is even with our best people, we get a little lazy. We start to assume that, well, today's fire is actually more important and they're okay for now. But more often than not, we postpone what might be smoldering or maybe what's not yet lit on fire in our person. And if we don't tend to that now, we are going to be tending that fire later. So that's the first thing, how to set aside time. So the second thing you should say as a leader if you want people to stay, and this is a good thing to say inside that meeting, inside that time that you set aside just to focus on your person. You can say this: if you had a magic wand, what 1 or 2 things would you change in your life at work right now to make it work better for you? If you had a magic wand, what one or two things would you change right now? This I have found to be such a powerful question, and very often it becomes a surprising question for people because we get stuck in how we've done our work. And until someone gives us an invitation, gives us permission almost to think differently about some of the aspects of our work, we don't think that some of the things that we don't really like doing could possibly change. But by saying, if you had a magic wand, you kind of open up the possibility that, well, if I had a magic wand, I wouldn't do the weekly report that has to go out to these 150 people. And that gives you, as a leader, ideas about the things that are really draining your associates, the things that may not be in their best and highest use, but yet that they may be assuming has to be part of their job. It allows you to really do some creative problem solving, to hear where are those pain points. Because if we don't open it up with something that has a possibility, like if you had a magic wand, people rarely come to, well, here's a pain point. I don't like doing those reports. Because they don't want to seem whiny. They don't want to seem like they're complaining. So give them the invitation to identify the things that really are the parts that drag them down. I have seen this also happen with people who have left their jobs for other opportunities, is that 80% of the job that they had was probably fine, but there was something else that sounded better in another opportunity. And they didn't think that the 20% that they didn't like doing was actually movable. It felt like that they were stuck in that part. And I've had conversations with both the boss and the person who's leaving and found that if that person had just brought it up, something could have been done. Something could have changed. So you as a leader, take the initiative. You can invite that person to start thinking and articulating what are those things that are getting in the way. I also like keeping it to what are the one or two things, because obviously if you get into a good conversation, you can keep opening that door further. But by saying one or two, it helps people focus and helps people get more comfortable with putting something on the table that may not be quite right. When we say, what's not working? Everything's fine, right? Think about how you respond to an open question like that. Be specific. If you had a magic wand, what would be the one or two things that we'd change to make your life at work better for you? Okay, so that's the second question you can ask your people as a leader, as a manager, as somebody who cares about them staying, and that helps them know that you're listening, that you want them to stay. The third one is maybe not a question, but a statement. What I really admire about you is. What I really admire about you is, and then obviously tell them. It's amazing in our organizations how often we are not telling each other the good stuff, right? Think about the last meeting that you were in. The meeting kicked off maybe with some introductions, and then you went right to all the bad stuff, right? Here's what's broken, here's what's late, here's what's missing, here's what we haven't done yet. But where's the good stuff? And sure, maybe you have a leader, maybe you are a leader who's savvy enough to take a minute and be able to say thank you, or to say good job on this or good job on that. But to take time with your key people, and whether this is in your purposeful sit down or whether it is in passing during a meeting, in the hallway on the way back from the meeting, what I admire about you is, and to find some gold and show the person that you see that gold in them. These are incredibly powerful words. And I bet that if you sat down right now and you thought about every single person that you do not want to lose in your organization, And that's actually the exercise my client is working on right now. If you had to say to each of them, what I admire about you is, I know you could come up with some great stuff. And ask yourself, do they know that that's how I feel? Do they know that I see that? Do they know that I see that they don't get flustered, that they take on new projects and new work and they handle it with grace and strength? Do they know that I see that they're reliable, that they're a problem solver? Whatever it is that we love about that person that we do not want to be without in our organization. And of course, I think of those things often as someone's superpowers. If you admire someone's superpowers, that unique thing that they bring, that only they bring, not just their skills or abilities, but the way that they do their work, saying it and saying it frequently is a great way to reinforce to that person that you want them to stay. So, those are just 3 things you can say so that people stay. And these are things you can say today. I'm a poet and I don't know it. These are things you can say right now. Don't wait until the person comes to you with their resignation. Don't wait until that conversation in their head has gone so far down the line that they're thinking they can't get what they want here in your department, in your organization, under your leadership. The biggest challenge that a lot of leaders have in this is that people take time. People are messy. Human beings do not all operate on the same operating system. But that's what makes the art of leadership great. And that's what should make it interesting for you to think about what you can say to your people so that they stay. So I urge you to make some time on your calendar right now to say these things to your people, to set aside time. And if you'd like more support in figuring out how you can nurture, grow, and retain your best people, you can always ask me questions at darcy@redcaperevolution.com. And I'd love to work with you further and share other tools and ideas to help you be the leader that you're meant to be.